myself. Yes, that's me on the far right there. I know it's hard to believe that I had that dark a hair at one time, but this is back in 1980 something, late 80s, when my wife, Linda, that you see there in the middle, started doing medical billing. Yeah, doing the billing for doctors. She would bill the insurance companies and Medicare for the visits from the patients, and that was a long time ago, wasn't it? In fact, we started teaching other people how to do what we were doing because we found people were interested in how we were making money, buying new cars and never moving out of our house, never actually leaving the house. And working around the house in our pajamas. Well, that was because we were doing the billing for doctors, and at the time we were actually doing it all on paper. Yeah, I know you find that hard to believe, but we actually typed on a typewriter, of all things, typewriter. Yeah, and that's how we got started. Then, of course, it moved to computers, and eventually, of course, we found our cloud-based system that we're using today. So anyway, that's our two children, by the way. I just failed to mention there. There's Adam on the left-hand side and Sarah. Adam is now 45 years old. He's got his own family, and so does Sarah. And Adam is still involved in the business. He is the CEO of the company now. I'm just the founder, But 27 years ago, we started this thing, as you can see from the little logo there. And there's my wife and I, a couple of years ago, at least. And, we're just booming right along here. We've got people from coast to coast who we've gotten involved in the business. We're going to tell you more about that business as we go along here. But if you want to check me out, those of you who've not been on one of these webinars before, you can go to Amazon and find, here's 3 of the books that I've written. I've written others, but there's 3 of them. We're going to be talking about a couple of those during the webinar today. So I am an author. You'll also, if you check me out on the internet for the BC Advantage magazine. That's Billing and Coding Advantage magazine. And I'm on the editorial board. I also write articles, of course, on a regular basis, so you'll find me there. I'm also one of the founders and I'm on the advisory board of an organization called MRMA, MRMAA.org. Write that down. If you want to go check them out, you'll see that that's an organization that actually certifies people to make sure that they are, valid people that know how to do billing for doctors and all the other things that have to do with the revenue management for a doctor's office. It's not near as hard as it sounds. It's a very simple business. I'm going to show you more about that as we go along. So if you're with me so far, let me just also say that, I got to increase the size of this window here for me to see this, but okay, there are other people coming in the room. Nobody's typing in the box there, in the question box, but folks, if you just arrived and you type something in the question box, I'll acknowledge you by first name there, yeah. Hey, by the way, we use a cloud-based system. Now, this is showing this here, as you can see, kind of on a Mac computer, it looks like, and an Apple iPad, but it runs on any platform. Doesn't matter. As long as you have an internet connection and a browser, you can get to our system and actually do the billing remotely from anywhere in the world. That's right. You could travel to Hawaii, get out there on the beach, as long as the hotel had a strong Wi-Fi, you could connect and do your business from anywhere in the world. It's a great system. It's a complete system. We also have other services that you can offer to doctors. They're all included in our one fee, one package, kind of like a franchise, but we call it a licensing package. And we license all of these services to you, all for one low investment cost of about $28,000. Yeah, I know that's a lot of money, but if you've looked at other franchises, you know that's one of the lowest investments that you can make. These other services, of course, you can offer to doctors and make money on all of those too. We've done many webinars in the past where we talk about each one of these services and how much money you can make with each one of them. So with all that said, let's get into our subject today. Why do doctors still trust, after 27 years, local small billing companies? Well, let me start with this quote that I found here just recently. I'm going to enlarge this here on my screen so I can see it a little bit better. And I don't know if that's enlarging that for you guys or not there. But as you can see, this article is from Physicians Practice. And it says that one of the things is that doctors need to tailor their practices, RCM, that's revenue cycle management. That's what they call it, revenue cycle management, to the changing times. The more practices can do on the front end before a patient sees a physician, the less likely they will encounter problems on the back end. Eligibility checks, that is reaching out to the billing clearinghouse, checking on deductions and coverage and so forth, are probably the most important step. But rechecking eligibility is just as important as the initial check. That is to ensure a payer will cover X visits over a 6-month interval. This is especially true in 2021 when job losses and health plans can change as quickly as an individual's COVID or vaccine status. If a patient doesn't get reauthorized, the doctor is doing their visit for free and will have to write it all off. Folks, you can't imagine how much money is left on the table by doctors because of this one thing here. They do not know how to do those eligibility checks. And we teach you how to do that with our system, because since it's cloud-based and since our clearinghouse is built into the system, it's all done automatically. It's just an amazing system. Wait till you see it. We'll give you a free demo of that if you just ask. Here's a quote from my book, The New Thriving Medical Practice, that I wrote with Dr. Vicki Rackner. We wrote, rejections have held steady at about 30% industry-wide. Now, folks, believe it or not, that's still true today and probably will be true for many, many years to come. That is, most doctors are using systems that reject 30% of those initial claims that are sent in. Now, imagine what happens with that 30% rejection rate. Some of them get back to the doctor's office, and the doctor or their staff will resubmit those claims. Most of them never get resubmitted. And even billing companies who don't have the up-to-date cloud-based system like we have leave that money on the table and do not know how to collect that for the doctor. So you can literally tell a doctor nationwide, our rejection rate through our system is less than 2%. Yeah, let that sink in for a second. 2%, not 30%. So aren't we bringing in 28% more for the doctor? Yes. And that means we can increase the doctor's revenue almost 30%. Now let that sink in, because if a doctor is collecting, let's say, $1 million a year, and they're leaving 30% on the table, that's $300,000 that we could increase their revenue. Yep. And the way we do that, by the way, this is a screenshot of our actual billing system, our cloud-based system. It's called iClaim. As you can see, one of the things you can do is right here on the front screen, Eligibility Request. When you get there, you simply choose their insurance company, put in a couple of pieces of information that they provide you from the little card that the patient gives you, and boom, it brings in all this data from the insurance company. Yes, that's right. In real time, we reach out to the insurance company's database and pull in the information about the patient. What does that do? Well, that cuts down on the human error of entering that patient data, doesn't it? So anyway, again, ask for a demonstration of this by one of our people here at my office, and we'll take you through a live, online, really cloud-based, in real time, over the internet demonstration of the system itself. Now look at this article that we ran across just recently. New York City doctors struggle to stay independent in a changing industry. Doctors in private practice have always had to balance the demands of running a small business with providing the best care for their patients. But the challenges of keeping the waiting room open are growing amid the declining reimbursement rates from insurers. So folks, this is not a problem that we just made up in our heads. You can go out and do your own research and see that doctors are struggling right now to run their practice. You see, that's one part of their business. They run the practice and they take care of their patients. But on the other end, they also have to do the billing if they're doing it themselves, and also try to collect that money that's due to them from the insurance companies. So what is the best cloud-based system out there? I just mentioned it's iClaim. And by the way, of all the physician practices, 42% of them out there with employed billing staff hope to outsource their billing in the next 12 months. Now let that one sink in. That quote is from our book there. You'll find that in my book and this, the source for it. And folks, that is huge. That means of all the doctors out there that are doing their own billing, 42% of them hope to outsource their billing in the next 12 months. And then we also have a whole section in my book called Cloud-Based Claims Filing is More Secure. Now that's very important that you know that our cloud-based system is HIPAA compliant. That means the government has validated the fact that we are secure. All of our servers are redundant servers. That means we have several in different parts of the United States. And if one goes down because of an electricity, grid going down, or an earthquake or whatever, another one just kicks on immediately. You would never even know it. It's almost, transparent. The other one kicks in. Those servers are also backed up nightly off-site in a secure location. So you never have to worry about that data. Now, why is that important? Because if you deal with software that installs on your computer, and yes, there are other companies that do something similar to what ABS does, but they'll sell you software that comes on a CD. Now, can you imagine something as old-fashioned as a CD or a DVD? Yeah, I don't even have anything I can stick here in my Mac computer that would load that DVD in. That's because everything is cloud-based nowadays. So that software is very insecure. Why? Because the patient data is stored on your hard drive in your office that can burn down overnight or get stolen. And that's very, very HIPAA uncompliant unless you're backing it up thoroughly off-site in a secure location, which most people don't do on a regular basis. Well, cloud-based claims filing systems solve these concerns, and we list all those here. So you know what I'm going to do? I think I'm going to offer you guys a copy of this book. That's right. We'll give you a free copy of this new Thriving Medical Practice if you'll get back with the person who invited you to this webinar. Just go back to that email, or later on, I'll show you our phone number and email address that you can send a request to get a copy of that book. Now, why is our system so perfect? It's because it has everything built in. Not only what's called the practice management system, that's what you use to actually do the billing, but it also has an electronic medical record system for the doctor to use. That's what you saw on the iPad that I illustrated earlier. The doctor can actually go into the patient with an iPad and visit the patient and do everything they need to do. And when the patient walks out, that visit is done, including all their notes. And all that data, of course, goes into our system, again, being cloud-based. You then log in anytime, 24/7, from anywhere in the world, and you have that data available to you to actually do the billing. We also have the only system that I know of that has the clearinghouse built in. Now, clearinghouse is real simple. It's a third-party company that most software has to send the claims to so that they can carefully look at it and scrub it. That means they make sure it doesn't have any errors so that it does get passed by the clearinghouse, by the insurance companies, most of them. Not 30% of them. Like I said earlier, 30% of them get rejected. Ours is down less than 2% because we have the clearinghouse built in. Then we also have the best patient portal you have ever seen. If you've ever used your doctor's patient portal, it probably sucks. Well, not ours. Ours is built in and is a part of this, all integrally built in, programmed by the same programmers that we have locked in the same room that we throw pizza and Pepsi into that room on a periodic basis to keep them alive. Now, I'm just kidding, of course, but the point is that we don't outsource this. This is not pieced together. Ask the company that you're talking to if they have a software system. Is it all integrated and written by the same exact programmers and updated on a regular basis by those programmers? Or is it a outsourced piece that you got here, another piece you got here, the patient portal you got here, the electronic medical records you got here, and you just kind of tied it all together somewhere behind the scenes with baling wire and bubble gum? Yeah, that's what some of them do. So it's very, very unsafe way to do that. iClaim has the only complete billing system that's also tied in with all those other things. You see, it can run on any platform. As I said earlier, don't worry about the type of computer or how much memory or storage you have. It doesn't matter. Look, if you could log in right now and go to your bank's website and do your banking online, that's the same thing as using our software, except ours is designed specifically for the ease of use and the user friendliness of our system. And remember, it has the electronic medical record system that the doctor can use in the office on any device to do all that they need to do in seeing the patient and keeping all the records of the patient behind the scenes. Again, our clearinghouse is built into the system. That's what makes it very unique. Unlike any other system that's out there, they all have to outsource that. That means if you were using other software, you'd be doing the billing, uploading it to the clearinghouse at the end of the day. The clearinghouse then has to take all those claims, go through them, look at them, make sure they're right, forward them on to the insurance companies. That takes time and there's that much danger of having rejections, of course. Our patient portal, like I said earlier, is one of the sleekest, user-friendly, most complete. It keeps track of everything that has to do with the patient in that office. So there you go. I mentioned the clearinghouse earlier. Let me put up here this slide for those of you who want the slides. I'm gonna actually put those slides. Let me see if I find them here on my desktop. I downloaded them earlier, and here it is right here. Let me see if I can actually put those in the handout right now, and you can just go get that. Let's see, handouts is right over here. All right, let me choose that file and stick it on there for you. There it is. I think it's right down here somewhere. Yep, okay. Now, if you want to, you can download this and read all this, because I know this is hard to, I'm talking fast and they're small type and so forth, but you get the idea that the handout would let you pull it up on your screen and see all this if you want to later on. But it's a direct portal to the insurance payers. The clearinghouse catches these errors first and prompts you to make corrections before you submit them to the payers. And this provides you a unique difference in the market that other medical billing services just don't have, due to the lower rejections that you'll have for the doctor and the expedited reimbursements. We can get doctors paid in as little as 7 days. That's right. And some of those clearinghouses and the insurance companies take 30 days or 45 days sometimes to pay. So folks, you become an intricate part of the doctor's office, helping with everything from the office itself. Your medical billing company, of course, has all that it needs. All the clearinghouses handled behind the scenes, totally transparent, and of course the insurance company. This is called the revenue cycle, and we teach you everything about that you need to know. Another way to illustrate that is to show you that the patient can log into their patient portal from their own device. The doctor can see the patient using the electronic medical records. All that data goes into our iClaim system, which has the clearinghouse built in, and all those claims are sent directly to the insurance companies, all electronically in real time. It's the slickest thing you've ever seen. Big difference, folks, between a cloud-based system and a server-based system. Any company that tells you they have a cloud-based system, be sure to ask them this question. Is there anything that I need to install on my computer or the computer on the doctor's, in the doctor's office? If they say, well, yes, there's a little piece that has to be installed on there, blah, 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 that's not true cloud-based, okay? If they have anything to do with CDs or DVDs, they're not using cloud-based technology, which is the latest that's out there. There are so many disadvantages to using a server-based system, folks. I found this little illustration here to show you that there's all kinds of spam and infections and malware and phishing and spyware and intruders. All that's eliminated with the cloud-based system, all of that. We've never had a problem with that in 20 some odd years. There are companies who actually sell their software under a different name, for example. And if you go search that online, you'll see that they're using electronic health records that's from a different company as well. They did not develop the software themselves, and they sell the software you'll be using directly to the doctors. We don't do that. We're not competing directly with you folks. So anyway, enough about that. I'm going to show you some screenshots to show you the difference. In the upper left-hand corner, this is a screenshot. Am I showing all this? I think you're seeing all these slides, aren't you? Yeah. In the upper left-hand corner, that's a slide of one of our competitors. Just plain old server-based software. It looks like an old written in the 80s for Windows-based software, doesn't it? Ours, again, is very update, modern, user-friendly, constantly updated. Every time you log into our system, folks, every time you log in, you're using the latest version. You don't have to download new versions of it or patches or updates. All that's taken care of for you behind the scenes by our programmers. Here's another picture of the electronic medical record system used by one of our competitors. So check all that out, download the slides, and you'll be able to see all that in close-up. Now, what is the advantage of doing a doctor outsourcing their billing to you versus doing it in-house? Well, one of the differences is it can save them a lot of money. Look, here's a comparison. And again, I encourage you to download those slides so you can see this a little bit better. Let me see if I can enlarge this a little bit even. I think I can get this a little bit bigger so we can see this. There you go. So these are the annual costs to a physician for doing their billing in-house. You'll see that even if they had just 1.5 people doing the billing in their office at $15 an hour, they're going to spend about $46,000 for those 1.5 people. Then you see that they have payroll taxes, workers' comp, errors and omissions insurance, training costs, leave coverage for their employees, benefit packages, hardware and software and IT support. All that adds up, folks. Look, a doctor inside their office could be spending $65,000 a year, where all you're going to charge the doctor is only 6% of what you collect for the doctor. And this is just based on some averages we found from our licensees. 100 claims per week, about $100 a claim, 52 weeks, that's at 6%, is only $31,000 a year. Now, folks, look at the difference. The difference is twice as much. Yeah, it's 48% less expensive to the doctor to outsource to you. This is what we teach you to do, to show the doctor in real time the advantages of outsourcing their billing to you. And this is why our licensees are signing up doctors every day, all across the nation. We have licensees from every possible background out there. And now look at this quote from the New England Journal of Medicine. Surely you've heard of that. Market analysts estimate that 24 cents out of every dollar are wasted on the administration and billing expenses. Yeah, 24% of all the money that they bring in is wasted on this billing stuff if they would just outsource it to you for 6%. Now, we use that 6%, by the way, in this chart here, just as an estimate of what you might charge. And we're trying to be low here. But you could be charging even 7% or 8%. That's the nationwide average, 6 to 8%. Yeah. Okay, so how do we get you up to speed on this? How would you possibly learn yourself how to do this? Well, the way we do it nowadays, we used to have people fly down here for a week to Texas and stay at a hotel and do it in a hotel, with hands-on in a hotel room. Now we do it all virtually, of course. Since the COVID started, we, in fact, a year before that, we started doing virtual training. And so here's your instructor here in the upper left-hand corner, teaching you exactly what you need to know on your computer with you, your partner, your spouse, whoever you want to be on that training can attend that training. I'll tell you a little bit more about it, but basically here are the 10 modules. Again, I encourage you to download the handout that I just put in the handout section of GoToWebinar. And once you get this, you can see this slide up close and zoom in and see exactly what we teach, folks. There are 10 modules. Each one's about an hour and a half long. So you got 15 hours of hands-on training live with an instructor. That's right. This is not a group of people. This is you alone, or you and your spouse or partner. That's right. It's just for you. That instructor is yours for that hour and a half. In all 10 modules, we cover everything you could possibly want to know about the business. It's what we call our initial training. We also have ongoing training and some other training that's on our licensee website. I'll show you here in just a second. Our instructors, by the way, are all not just book taught people or sitting here in our office. I could teach these classes if I wanted to, or any of my staff, but we actually pay our existing licensees. These are people who've invested their money in this business, and they're running their own business out of their own home somewhere in the United States. We'll put you together with those people, let you set up your schedule with them, and go through that step by step with those instructors one-on-one. By the way, everybody's, of course, the biggest concern is, how do I get a client? What if I don't get a client? What if I, invest all this money with you, Patrick, and I don't actually find a client? Well, we've got that solved, folks. We've covered every possible aspect of marketing in our training. You'll see that when you see the modules there that I showed you earlier. And we also do all that training through the auspices of MIRMA that I mentioned earlier. Here's their actual website here. And these trainings have been designed and approved by our board of advisors. Go look at the advisory board on the MIRMA website. There it is again, myrma.org. You see it up here in this little logo here. Boy, that's kind of tiny, isn't it? Let me see if I can get that bigger so you can see that. There it is, myrma.org, okay? And our advisors are pretty impressive. You'll see they're all part of our nationwide network of partners that supply all the different services that we offer to doctors through you. We have marketing material that we've designed and spent $100,000 plus on designing, so you don't have to worry about that. It all looks very, what's the word? It's consistent, right? It all looks like it was designed by the same company, and it is. You can print your name and your logo and your contact information on these flyers. We have already got these all designed and printed up for you. And folks, one of those it's not even shown here because we haven't even designed it. It's brand new. We called it Virtual Care. This is really hot right now. There's the brochure that we are about to put out there called Virtual Care, and there's a postcard as well. And Virtual Care has to do with taking care of patients away from the office. That's right. Doctors are now using technology to maintain the remote patient monitoring of patients using different various electronic tools and of course, the technology that allows them to have visits with patients remotely. There is a lot of money to be made in this. I'm just going to briefly show you this. We've done whole webinars on this, but as you can see, the estimated increase in annual revenue per patient for a doctor, if they have their chronic care management and their remote patient monitoring, both, they will be totally increasing their annual revenue per patient, $840. Sorry, I had a little tickle there in my throat and I had to mute. So you didn't hear that, but you saw it probably if you were watching me on the webcam. Folks, that's $840 per patient. Now, a lot of doctors have thousands of patients if they've been in practice for a while. We're just taking an illustration here, an example. If they only had 350 patients that they were doing the remote patient monitoring for, their total potential annual revenue to the practice would be $294,000. That's right. So imagine going into a doctor's office and saying, hey, we want to talk to you about a couple things, but one of them is remote patient monitoring. We can do that with you, Dr. Jones, from our offices using our technology and our people and our equipment and increase your revenue sometimes up to $300,000 a year. Now, would that get your attention if you were a doctor? Yeah, you don't even have to talk to them about billing to get their attention. And if they're not interested in that, well, hey, you've at least made a connection and you can then tell them about the fact that you can do their billing and increase their revenue up to 30% with the billing. So there are many, many multiple ways of earning money. For you, there's also money. It sounds like a small amount. It's only each, a month of $7. But if you had 350 patients times 12 months, that's another $29,400 for you. And guess what? Our people, do all that remote monitoring for the doctor. That's right. You don't do a thing but go to your mailbox and get checks each month that we've sent to you for your effort in setting this up with the doctor. So there is one example, folks. Look, I'm going to show you this picture again. Here are the services that you can offer to doctor. One of them that we just introduced, just one of them, can bring you another $29,400. By the way, that's $1,400. Well, let's see. Our license fee is actually $27,990. Okay, say it's $28,000. So this is going to bring you more than the initial investment into our business package, folks. This is the best investment for a return on investment that you can find in America today. Once you've gotten started, by the way, and got your first client, that's our goal, going through those modules with you. Our goal for all of our people is to get you your first client. As soon as you've done that, then we begin supporting you. Yes, we have people all over the United States from coast to coast, over 150 people, in fact, with all of our technology partners that can help you with your support. This is an actual support office out in California, for example, showing you that we actually have real human beings that you can call and email, and they'll get online with you. They'll do whatever it takes to support you, not only on the technology, but on the support of the marketing as well. Folks, we're dedicated to helping you grow because we make a few pennies on all the transactions that go through our system. So that's why there's never any other fees that you ever pay us. After that $28,000 initial licensing fee, oh, that's a bad thing to do, leave your phone on during a webinar. And we will never charge you another penny for anything. No support, no training fees, no updates to the software, no additional users to the software, nothing. That's because we make money on those services. Remember, every one of these services we're actually making money on the back end, including the billing, of course, itself. So what else do you get for your support? Well, one of them is this support site. Now, folks, I don't have time today. I've done this in other webinars where I actually go to this site to show you how much is there. But there are hundreds of hours of additional webinar training that we've got posted on our licensee support site. You'll get a log into this, of course, once you become one of our business owners, our licensees, we refer to them as. There's over 300 business documents on here that we've developed and paid big bucks to our attorneys to develop, over 100 hours of in-depth training, interviews with successful owners, weekly updates, ongoing training webinars. We have a training webinar at least every other week right now, live for our existing licensees. And no, we don't charge them anything for that. You also get access to a physician partner. That's right, Dr. Vicki Ragnar can be partners with you in building your business. I'll show you more about that here in a second. This is just a glimpse at our website where we store all of our webinars to show you the variety of things that we teach. You can actually go to youtube.com and go to /YABS, and you'll see all of those different webinars. These are primarily the ones that we do here on Wednesdays. We actually do the ones for our licensees, our business owners, on Fridays. So it's a whole nother selection of those. We're not going to give you access to those yet, of course, but you can see all of these just to show you how dedicated we are to teaching people and keeping them motivated. Here's an article that says national healthcare spending growth projected at 5.4% annually through 2028. So if you're wondering, is this a good time to get started in this business? Now, my wife and I started back 27 years ago or more. And yes, we built it big. We've got a lot of people doing billing. We make a lot of money from that. But folks, this is the best time in history that you can get involved in this because of all the changes that are happening in the healthcare industry. Folks, look, if you're wondering if there's a future in this, think about it this way. As long as there's human beings, as long as the human beings get sick, as long as those human beings go to doctors to get well, as long as the doctors need to get paid by somebody, somebody has to bill somebody else to get the doctor paid. That's what this business is all about. That's why it'll be here for a long, long time to come. Here's a quote from that article. As it has over the past several decades, healthcare spending is expected to grow on average more rapidly than the rest of the economy. Look, if you're going to get involved in a business, folks, why don't you get in one that's got a huge growth factor to it? That's why our business has boomed over the last 27 years and is booming right now. Yes, we have licensees who during the COVID doubled their business. That's how good this business is. It doesn't have a slowdown. Even 2008 and 10, when we had the slowdown in the economy, the recession, that didn't affect us at all. We grew during that period of time too. Now, folks, as you go through our training, by the way, and get certified, you'll be certified as a medical revenue manager, not just a medical biller. That's something that's not near as important as helping the doctor to manage their entire revenue, including the money that's collected from patients as well, and other ways that we can save the doctor and increase the doctor's revenue. Now, I mentioned Dr. Vicki Ragnar. Let me just say this because we're getting close to halfway through the webinar at least. Let's talk about Dr. Vicki Ragnar because this is too small too. Let me increase this so you can see this. These are some of the books that Dr. Ragnar has written and has published and is out there on the internet. She's also been interviewed by USA Today and CNN and many other television stations and radio and newspapers and magazines. And that's because she is in demand. She's a retired general surgeon, saw thousands of patients over the years, and then retired and started helping other people who wanted to connect with doctors. Her heart is in helping doctors to thrive in their medical practice. That's why she and I wrote the book called The New Thriving Medical Practice. Now, the reason I'm showing you that is because she's also written a book called The Myth of the Rich Doctor. You know, doctors, everybody thinks doctors are rich. Well, she wrote this one, and doctors love this book because they know that they are not making the kind of money they thought they were going to make when they got into the medical field. But she says right inside this book, physicians in private practice walk away from an average of 30% of their incomes when they do not follow up on rejected insurance claims. Outsourcing your medical billing could bring rejection rates to as low as 2 to 5%. She's referring to our system, of course. She says, this may be the fastest and easiest way to increase your cash flow. Now, for a doctor to hear from another doctor that the fastest and easiest way to increase their cash flow is to outsource their billing, that is gold, folks. That's why we allow you to purchase this book and use this in your marketing to doctors. Now, the one that she and I wrote together, by the way, is even more exciting because look at this. You'll notice that this book has on the front cover, we've got it kind of blown up there where you can see it. See, it says right here at the bottom, forward by Susan Smith, CMRM. Now, that could be your name because we've already got a standard forward written to the book. You can write your own if you want to, but you can use ours, and you'll see that it's generic enough to put your name on the cover of the book as having written the forward to the book. Now, folks, this doesn't get any better from a credibility standpoint. Imagine handing you can buy these. Now, a big supply of these books comes with your licensing package, of course, when you first invest with us. But if you run out, you can reorder these as little as about $4 and some odd cents per copy with your name printed on the cover of the book. It's a $14.95 book. Let me see. That's $24.95 on Amazon. Yeah, you can go look it up right now on Amazon. You'll see it's $24.95. You get to buy it. Our printing cost is only about $4 per book. Your name on the front cover, and of course inside at the end of the forward. Now, I have a copy of the book right here that I want to show you something. You see that illustration there with the little tabs? Well, I actually have one here. You see the little purple tabs there on the side. And what we teach you to do is to go to these dozen or so pages in the book, and we show you exactly what you should highlight in the book. That's right. Every page that has a tab on it has a highlighted passage. You see it there? I'm holding it up to the camera for those of you who are not paying attention. And this makes it very unique because when you give a copy of this to a doctor, see, there it is down at the bottom, forward. You're forward by Susan Smith. That'll be your name right there. That doctor sees these tabs and instantly starts turning to them. We've had doctors call people up and say, look, I read your book. They think you're an author of the book, I guess, because you wrote the forward. And I read the pages and then read more of the book. And here's one, for example, this tab here, you see has highlights all over these 2 pages. Well, that captures their attention enough and brings out things that they've never thought of enough to get them interested. Look, folks, I interviewed one of our licensees during the COVID. This was sometime last summer. And he said, Patrick, all I did was mail out. Yeah, didn't go by the office. I mailed 3 copies of this book to 3 different doctors that I wanted to, connect with. And he said, all 3 of those doctors called me up and said, I got your book and I think we need to talk. And he set up appointments with 2 of them and signed them up. So folks, this is marketing genius. I wish I knew who thought of this. Oh, wait, that was me. The point is that we just happen to know how to market to doctors. See, that's part of what you're paying for is our genius, our experience, our history for the past 27 years, knowing what works and what does not work. And these books work. Now, I'm going to give you all a little preview of something here. Yeah, we have another book that my son, Adam, just finished writing with Dr. Vicki Ragner. You see his name at the bottom here, called 9 Ways Doctors Let Money Slip Through Their Fingers. It is ingenious. And look, you can even have a little label printed right here and stick it on the cover of the book that says compliments of, and then there can be your company name, your phone number, and your web address. Huh? Pretty ingenious, isn't it? That's another book that you'll be able to purchase for about $4 a copy. You get an initial supply of those, of course, in your package. Now, that book is just now being sent to the printer for our initial run. So if you sign up, just be sure and tell your ABS rep here at our office that you want to be sure and get that new book that Adam just published, and you'll get copies of that one as well. And we have other books too that I'm just going to show them to you and not talk too much about them, but here's one called 10 Critical Questions for Physicians in Private Practice. You'll be able to put your name on the back cover of that. Dr. Vicki Ragner wrote that book, but your name and company name and logo can be printed right here on the back cover of that book. And then we have a book that you can give to doctors called How Physicians Can Get More Patients. See, folks, these are the kinds of things that set you apart from other companies that are out there trying to contact doctors. They don't have books that are written by a doctor that you are associated with, that you're partnering with. That's unheard of out there. So the point is, those are all a part of your package. You'll get copies of all those, of course, when you sign up. Look, Inc. magazine, you've probably heard of them. They've been around for years and years, says, what makes a good opportunity? Well, we just took a copy of this because this just recently came out, and it's called, it says, evaluate your business concept using the 3 M's before you start up. Now, let me show you what those are. Here it is, real simple. It's me, market, and money. All 3 are related, and if any of them are missing, it's likely the concept is not worth developing. Folks, we've gone through our opportunity, and we can show you that we have everything that this article is talking about that makes for a good opportunity. The me has to do first and foremost, the business needs to fit you personally as the entrepreneur. Now, if you don't think that you know enough about this business, don't worry. I've taken most of the people that have gone through our training over the past years. Those people had no background or connection to the health field at all. I'd say from what we know of all of our licensees, maybe 2 to 3% had any connection to the health field at all. And the ones that are being just very successful out there, you'll see some of those on our YouTube channel, and you'll see me interviewing those people. You'll see that they say, look, I knew nothing about this business. You taught me everything I needed to know, and I just took it and ran with it. The concept that you're looking at now, if you're looking at getting into your own business, should correspond with your goals in terms of money and lifestyle, and should be something you have some knowledge of and can be passionate about. Now, good. Again, if you don't have knowledge of something, how do you get it? Well, we teach it to you. And since we have a money back guarantee, you can go through our training, and if you don't think you learned enough about it, just ask for your money back. I'll tell you more about that here towards the end. The market, of course, is the second key to an opportunity, and whether there's enough market demand to support the idea of this business. As a large enough market warrants starting the business. Market size also must be examined carefully. Now, folks, the market for this is huge. There are over 1 million medical providers in the United States, and in any one given market, you just need a handful. Literally, you can go to our website and prove to yourself from the income estimate calculator that's at the top of the website there. Here it is at the bottom of the screen here, absystems.com. Go check that calculator out, and you'll see that you only need about a handful. Literally, 5 doctors can make you more money than probably you're making now at your regular job. And that's the last part, of course, money. The third key lies in financial returns. To justify starting a business, the potential returns from the business must outweigh the upfront investment. This means that high enough margins must be made on each product or service delivered, and enough volume can be generated to provide an adequate return on investment for you and your investors. Now, I just showed you how that one of the services that you can offer to doctors, just one of these many services, can make you back our initial investment. So, folks, there is no doubt that we have the best opportunity in America today. Go check that out. Again, download the slides, and you'll be able to look at that more carefully there in the slides. Let's talk about that return on investment just for a second. Here's the calculator. I have some screenshots as all this is, but as you can see, if you put in the calculator 5 doctors, each seeing about 20 patients a day, working 5 days a week, and if you're charging 7%, we've got in this calculator, on an average claim of around $150, that's for a visit to a doctor, that's about what it is nowadays, your yearly gross income can be $273,000. Folks, that's $22,740 per month potential with just 5 doctors in your area. Now, go out and Google physicians or medical practices in my area and just see what Google comes up with. There's probably thousands in your area. It might not be in your particular little city if you're in a smaller city, but go out to a 50-mile radius. You'll see there are plenty of doctors out there, and you only need 5 to make this kind of money. Now, that's not guaranteed, of course, and of course you're going to have some expenses in addition to that. But folks, you can manage 5 doctors, 5 medical offices yourself. You don't have to hire anybody, so there's no other cost there. to make this kind of money? Again, I encourage you to go plug in your own numbers into that calculator and see what you come up with. Okay. Well, I'm going to open up the question box now, and I'm going to delete the comments you put in earlier there about the fact you could hear me and so forth. And I'm going to let you ask any questions you want so far. While I am looking at that question box, I will tell you about our money back guarantee. Now, folks, I don't know of any other company in America that does this. In fact, my own staff thought I was completely nuts when I came up with this a few years back and said, look, if we have what we say we have for people, if we really do have that good an opportunity, a business opportunity, let's give them a money back guarantee. And everybody went, what? I said, yeah. They said, you mean like if they look at our materials and ship it back in 10 days or whatever? I said, no, let's let them go through the training. They said, you mean they have to go through the training in 2 or 3 days? And then if they, I said, no, just give them up to 30 days to go through the training if they want to. It won't take you that long, but if you want to take that long, you can. And folks, if for any reason you don't think this is the right business for you, please just tell us. We'll give you 100% of your money back. Now, how do I do that? How do I stay in business? Won't people take advantage of me? Of course, they could if they wanted to. We have given money back. Only about 0.5% of the people who've gone through our training have asked for their money back. But that's because we want to be as upfront and honest with you as we can. And I don't know how to tell you everything about the business unless you go through all 15 initial hours of training. Once you do, you'll know whether this is right for you. You'll know whether or not you think you can get a client. You'll know whether or not it's too technical for you or our software is too involved. All of that will be quite obvious to you if you go through that. Okay, let's see. Oh, I do see some questions coming in here, so I'm gonna zoom in so I can see these questions here. How do you respond to doctors saying it sounds too good to be true? What other objections do doctors raise? Great question, Chris. Well, first of all, doctors do say that. Yes, they're going to think when you show them some of the things that I've shown you that it's too good to be true. You do the same thing that I just did here in this slide. You just say, look, if there's something that you don't like about our service or you don't think it's good for you, you can stop it at any time. Now, we do have an agreement that the doctor signs that says it's good for a year, it's renewable every year automatically if everybody agrees, but they can get out of it anytime they want to. Why would you want to keep a doctor if you're not doing the job that you said you were going to do? So that's how confident we are that you can do what you say you're going to do, and you can give that same guarantee to the doctors. Chris, I don't have time on this webinar, of course, to go through some of the objections that doctors raise, but when you tell them, look, here's some references, we'll give you some references you can give to the doctors. Here's the network that we're a part of, the nation's largest network of independent medical billing companies. This is us. We're trained by them. We're supported by them. Our technology is supported by them. You tell them all that, and then you say, if you don't like what we do for you in the first 30, 60, 90 days, whatever, just let us know, and we'll part ways and we'll part as friends. And so those objections are very rare once you've told them that. Yeah. Okay, Chris, if I didn't cover that as thoroughly as you would like for me to, please, I encourage you to go to our website, our YouTube channel, youtube.com/whyabs, and watch some interviews that I've done with other licensees. They will tell you that it's not, you just don't get those kinds of objections with what we have, the credibility that you can bring to the table. And ask your ABS rep that's invited you to this webinar to go into more detail about that as well. Juliet says, do I have to take any state exams in order to get certified with any organizations after the 15-hour training? No. Juliet, one misunderstanding that's out there is that people have to go through and take some kind of training that's certified by a college or some other organization. All the certifications that are out there for medical billing and medical coding are all just certifications that those companies came up with, just like we give you a certification. That means we, as an organization, MIRMA, have certified you, but it doesn't mean that you have to be certified by any state organization. what we give you is all you need, Juliet, to get started in business. Now, you may have to register in your own city or county with the state if you're setting up an LLC. Those are the kinds of things that we'll teach you in the initial training. If you don't know how to do that, we'll give you all the information you need to get set up as a company. But that's just to start a new business, with a new company name and so forth in your city. So we'll show you how to do that. All right, great questions. Keep them coming, guys. All right, here are the steps you need to take. Those of you who've been on our webinars before know that we have a research guide. Now, you know what I'm going to do? I have it right here. I have a printed copy at least. We'll send it to you in a PDF format. But as you can see, it is about 50 pages of information that you won't find on our website. Now, the reason we did that is because we have some proprietary information in here that we only want to send out to people who prove to us that they're sincere about getting into our business. You can get that by emailing us or getting back with the person who sent you the email to invite you to this webinar. That's your ABS rep, we call them. And or you can call that number right there and just ask the person that answers the phone. Hey, I'm not sure who my rep is, who's my rep, and how do I get that research guide? We'll get that to you by email. Then I've already mentioned our YouTube channel. There it is again, youtube.com/YABS. Then ask your ABS rep for an owner reference list. Now, this is an actual list of a dozen or more of our licensees, our business owners from coast to coast who've agreed to take a phone call and actually talk to people who are interested in getting into our business. You will get that list with their email addresses and phone numbers and can contact those people directly for yourself. We don't tell them what to say or not say. And so these are real people. Some of them have offices. Some of them, of course, work out of their home, but there's a few that have built their business so big they've actually opened offices. And if you ask them politely, they might let you actually come and visit them in their office to see what they've done with the business. Then be sure and ask for that live demo I mentioned earlier. Folks, there's nothing like seeing our software, but since I don't have it, since it doesn't come on a CD or a DVD, I can't send anything to you in the mail. But you can ask us for a live demo and we'll set up a time using GoToWebinar here, GoToMeeting, and have a one-on-one live demo, taking you through our software and answering all your questions. Then next to the last step is the purchase agreement. Review the purchase agreement. It's only 4 pages long. This is not a big deal, but you'll see that it includes everything, including our money back guarantee and the funding instructions as to how to get the funds to us. Then the last step is send in your agreement and funding and schedule your training. Now that training, by the way, is done one-on-one with one of our certified instructors who also run their own medical billing business and can teach you how they did it step by step.